this mic closer to me. I shouldn't have put this in there. Oh, yeah, I should have. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Jean Gray. Welcome to the live. This is going to be a shorter live in preparation for later's comic book read, where we're going to be revisiting DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths. But I just wanted to talk to you guys because it's a new moon today, as well as a new Mercury. So in astrology, uh, it's like a potent Scorpio new moon. And since Jean Grey is a Scorpio, I decided that she would be the best one to deliver, to cosplay and deliver you guys the news that in terms of astro and stuff, I'm no longer, I'm no longer going to take on readings one on one, unless like special circumstances, emergency circumstances, things like that. Reason being is that there are a lot of wonderful astrologers out there practicing, whom I'm also friends with, who I think work with people on a regular basis. And also, I've just found for myself, it's very, very emotionally taxing for me to do. Oh, thank you for that gift, Roel. So it's not to say that when I do lives with you guys, we're not going to talk about the stars. The stars are always there. The cosmos is also there. But I'm hey Keaton, how are you? Happy new moon. We have a new lunar cycle, you guys. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about psychic powers because Jean Grey, of course, is one of the original 5 classic X-Men, if you aren't familiar. And I'm wearing her classic suit. She was the only female member of like Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Iceman. I love Bobby actually. I feel like it's also funny because in the live action version of X-Men, I don't remember if it was First Class or not, but the guy who played Bobby is also from Animorphs. And I don't know if you guys read Animorphs, but I read Animorphs and I loved Animorphs. And he was Jake. And it was like, I was like, oh, I love that little connection there. So in terms of content-wise, I was going through putting on my Barbara Gordon Batgirl hat of libraries and going through all my content, being like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff here, and it's kind of disorganized, as well as um, when I learned about astrology back in the day, it was like 2020 when I learned about astrology, but 5 years has gone by in a blink, and I've since come around to realizing that, sometimes certain messages from the universe are really meant for you. And, like sometimes it's like having a dream that was just really meant for you, and you try to tell that dream to other people and they're like, I don't really like get what the point is, right? And then I was just realizing like, oh, I was kind of like making content more for me and less for like you guys. Or do you know what I mean? Like when you're out putting out videos, right? Like performance art, or you're doing a live stream, or you have a show, or public speaking, anything like that. You're presenting something, right? And so you are also opening yourself up to this like two-way communication. Someone has to receive that information, right? And so I've even looked at like my old dance routines, my old freestyle stuff, because I've been putting together some new dances and just be like, wow, like just different, I don't want to say criticisms, but sometimes we don't like looking at ourselves. We don't like listening to the sound of our own voice in a recording, or sometimes we don't like seeing ourselves on camera, or we can be like almost shy of ourselves. But it's like this interesting thing that happens when you can take like a 3D eagle eye view, step outside of yourself and be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. It looks different from up here. So today's little chat is going to be about the new moon, but I'm going to talk about it more in perspective of your own moon sign, as well as everyone has these psychic powers, right? If ever you have like a hunch, hey Scott Summers, welcome. If ever you have like a hunch of something, or like I don't know, like if you guys have ever experienced anything that's like kind of like spooky action, right, from a distance, or like sometimes where you can foresee something happening, or feelings of deja vu, or these kinds of stuff. There are certain times in the astrological cycle for all of us as a collective human family to feel like, oh, that's much more intensified. So when I was doing, like when I do comic book reads with you guys, I also kind of like, oh, okay, what story do I feel like the cosmos would like for me to tell today. So, what I'm going to tell you guys today is a little story about Greek myth and Roman myth. Not so much Roman, mainly Greek mythology. When I was a little girl, loved Greek mythology. But I've been doing some stuff recently going back to the myths that I thought I knew in my head. And, going on the internet being like, okay, the myth of Pegasus, tell me. The myth of Medusa, tell me. And then some of the stories getting back, I'm like, that's not how I remember it. That's not like what it was in the book. And, since reading a lot of comic books with you guys too, like even Jean Grey, right? Jean Grey, if you guys aren't familiar, she goes through this saga, the Dark Phoenix saga, where Jean dies, but then she's resurrected as the Phoenix. And there's a point in the story where the Phoenix is the one who has all of Jean Grey's consciousness and memories and all that kind of stuff. And so the Phoenix, being a cosmic entity, having a host, it's a way of realizing how we think about like gods and goddesses, right? In terms of mind forms, thought forms, beings of the imagination. So when it comes to let's say divination, or when you your inner knowing of things, your hunches of stuff, all that stuff can be enhanced, as well as you can practice them. I think is the biggest thing I wanted to say, was because let me see if I have my whiteboard available. I sure do. Yay. Okay. So if we were to talk about different psi powers, Jean Grey's powers come from empathy, right? And so if we think about, let's write down all the different psychic powers that you could have. Which ones would you guys? What would you want to be psychic, right? Because it's every gift can feel also like a little bit of a curse, right? There's a scene between Kitty Pryde and Jean Grey where Kitty Pryde, she can phase through walls and molecules. Hi, Pokey. She can go through time and stuff, like all of that, but she's having this conversation with Jean being like, I hate this, I hate having powers, all this kind of stuff. And Jean's like, no, but it's you, and if you can just learn to have mastery over it, then you're going to be a very large gift to humanity, as well as the X-Men, and doing good in the world, right? Or whatever it is your soul story is leading you to live out. I think the biggest thing, I might have woken up at 12. I feel today's a new moon, and if you guys are lunar people, we're going to actually talk a bit about alchemy in astrology, but I'm going to talk about Greek myth first, because knowing Greek myth for me has actually helped me understand astrology more. And all to all the new joiners, I was just saying happy new moon, happy new Mercury, because Mercury was in retrograde. And not to say you should use Mercury retrograde for an excuse of anything, but Mercury is also undergoing a new cycle. So we have new moon and new Mercury. And if we understand the myths behind moon and Mercury, we also can we can understand or get these ineffable concepts in a more practical way. Because oh, well, the moon is in Scorpio. Who cares? What does that mean? Am I going to have what am I eating for dinner? What should I stretch today? So it's all of these kinds of things where okay, there's these cosmic things happening, but what does that mean in a very personal kind of way, right? Understand again. Yeah, I've been trying to not say understand, because that's being under something. Understanding is more you're taking intel and you're bringing it within yourself and you're synthesizing it to have an understanding of it. So I just introducing different words, right? No, I'm saying on purpose. Understand. And thanks, Dark Rider. Gnostic Disciple, nice to see you again. And Gwen Stacy, thanks for reposting, baby Gwen. Mama Jean is back. Yes, and I wanted to talk to you guys about, from a big sister energy. I'll call it a telepathic connection with my sister. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the endocrine system in. Hopefully I can fit this all in an hour because I'm doing well. So mindfulness, yes, or whatever you want to call it. I call it being lucid in the dream too, right? You know how you're in a dream, because I'm a big dreamer. And I do have my eggs behind me. I'm making some new eggs, and those are actually going to be related to the metals in just a sec. But what I wanted to talk to you about is Greek myth before, so I'd make sure that I can get through everything. So just like comic books, Greek myth and Roman myth, all these different stories have multiple versions. If you're talking about folklore or mythologies, sacred stories around the world, there's always different mythologies or different stories, different versions for similar characters or archetypes. Like no different how you have the Batman who laughs, the Batman who's from the 60s show, the Batman in that Forever animated cartoon. You have the different versions, but then there's like the initial or like original archetype or original template behind what that energy signature is about. Now, Jean Grey, she is considered the perfect host for a cosmic force known as the Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix herself, I'm going to call the Phoenix a her, but she's bigger than that. Well, I'll call the Phoenix a her just because, like, Mother Earth is also a her, right? To me. Unless you're looking at Egyptian lore, because Egyptian mythology will have the earth as Geb, so earth is a masculine energy and female. My sister does not respond to messages. She doesn't. She's a bad texter. Oh my gosh, I look like I blacked out on. So I'm on YouTube as well, you guys, because my big message today is that I am no longer doing astrology readings for people. It's not to say that I'm not going to connect with you guys on a regular basis and talk comic books and all that kind of stuff, but I came out the other end. Like, I was working in corporate, you guys, right? So think from 2015 to about 20, like, yeah, must have been longer than that though, because I was married to I'm trying to think of, like, time is so crazy these days. When you try to think in your own timeline of events in your head, you're like, wait a minute, what happened first? I know that Wolfie was born in 2015, the same year that me and my husband got married. So that's my way of marking time, right? So I was in corporate before that. I was a personal trainer for a while. I went through school here. I did broadcast journalism for a summer, and then I did corporate communications, like PR and stuff. And then I got a job as a digital project manager for an agency that worked with Fiat, Dodge, Chrysler. So I worked a lot with automotive vehicles because I love fast cars, like the Dodge Viper. We did auto show. So I worked in corporate that whole time. So in that cosplay, because prior to that, when I first moved to Toronto, I was a go-go dancer, right? I like all this kind of other stuff where where I have like an alter ego, right? Of this is my corporate Rachel with like my heels and my like pencil skirt, and you can't show too much chest, right? Person at home. I don't know if you guys have seen that show Severance, where it's literally like you make a clone of yourself, and like your clone goes to work, and then they only have a memory of just like being at work. That's like their whole life. Death, thank you for the Rosa. So I had that, and so much more fun doing this kind of cosplay, right? Jean Grey, way better cosplay than corporate Rachel. But anyways, I've met so many cool friends through all of my jobs though. So like after the job ended, of course, and left, like I got to keep a lot of those relationships. So I'm eternally grateful for that journey and all the friends I made along the way. But the shift, right? Once I exited the corporate world back to being like making your own schedule and trying to organize yourself. Like Pokey, we're supposed to still have a call, right? But I've been lost in dream worlds and my own head and my own traumas that I'm still trying to process. That it's been difficult to get focus and do, because like let's say you have like 3 different tasks that you need to do. You can't do each task needs its own time to occupy. You can't do three things at the same time, right? Yeah. Have you been on any mission? Oh, I have been on some Dream Warrior missions, my friends, you guys. So I would recommend you guys like some required watching. I'm gonna give you guys some of that for all you Dream Warriors. The Twilight Zone. Yeah, I love that show, by the way. I still love those cool anthology shows like what is it? Not Jeepers Creepers. And I'm the biggest fan of old school television. And so that's my biggest announcement to you guys, actually, is that um, I'm not going to do astrology content anymore specifically, right? Where like I did like an astrology reading of Aaliyah, her birth and death, and I have some trippy connections with Aaliyah. Rest in peace, baby girl. I love you so much. But she's got some trippy stuff about what happened to her, like the nefarious side of the music industry and stuff, right? I have also a very deep connection to Marilyn Monroe. I don't know how to explain it, but I to, I just got like a tingle. Like me and Marilyn are close, and Marilyn does. I know she has connections with a few female energies on this realm right now, but through doing Marilyn's chart, I got to understand a lot about her, and so I just was like, ooh, a lot of her stuff mirrors my own story. And just to remember, like, your story is yours to live, right? But we can find comfort, we can find inspiration, we can find support in others' stories, right? Because Marilyn went through a crazy childhood, right? She born Norma Jean, right? Jean Grey, Norma Jean. One of my cosplay names, I'm gonna have a Cara Jean. That'd be kind of cute, right? That'd be a cute baby name, I think, actually. Oh, Sir Francis, hi, welcome. Um, Only episode I've seen on 12 was The Lost Little Girl. I have not seen that. Goosebumps. I always watch the marathon. The Sandman sends you where you need to be. Oh, any advice for being attacked by astral spirits? I dream of destroying a large pizza. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Can I do pigtails? I sure can, Mar. Not on this live, though. And also realize doing your hair, actually, that is magic work as well. I have girls to help me do that. I have, okay, where do I want to go with this? How much time do I've got? Because I'm going to be playing D&D, you guys, later. I'm going to be streaming it so you can see it as well. Okay. I'm going to first talk to you guys about the myth of Pegasus, because I revisited it the other day because I've been using an oracle deck called the Pegasus Oracle deck, which you can use online. So I have a few oracle decks, like one is Isis, one is the oracle deck, which I've done with you guys, but this one is about Pegasus. And I don't know about you guys, but I love unicorns, Pegasus, like, you know, I drew all of this behind me, by the way, as well. So, let's see. Oh, yes. Just because I don't do readings specifically doesn't mean I'm not going to put out other output that has to do with like cosmic stuff, right? So coming back to what you were asking about what to do if you're feeling like you're psychically attacked in dreams, or like you have night terrors. Like as I said, I sent off a dragon egg to my friend's son who is dealing with night terrors, because if you're someone who is open, right, energetically, right, it's just like opening a portal or looking through a window. It goes both ways, right? So if you see something, they see you too. So I have different practices when it comes to dealing with spiritual attacks. I personally have never had nightmares, probably because my waking life was more of a nightmare. I laugh now, but like, oh gosh. But I personally have never struggled with nightmares. And like, to people who like say like, well, that isn't real or that's silly. Like, if you can't sleep because you're terrified to go to sleep, like my sister used to deal with a lot of night terrors. So what I did with her was this. She used to have this dream, she said, about like me and her and all her dog, like us all being like attacked by like a demon of some sort. So I told her, if ever you feel in the dreamscape that you're in a tough spot, like a scary spot, you know, I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to envision this tree house that I built in the astral realm. It's gorgeous. It's got like comfy seating. You can only get up with this like it's in the clouds. You can climb up there, but you can just make yourself appear there. And there's snacks, and it's safe, and it's warm. It's wonderful. So if ever you feel like you're in a scary place in the dream world, just imagine you're in the tree safe house, and I'll be there in 2 seconds. So that helped, right? And if you think about being in that dream realm, and if you're in someone else's dream, if you're able to be like a force of good, right? Or if someone's lost in a nightmare, those kinds of conceptualizations, or if someone's talking shit about you, like gossip, that can kind of build up into something, right? I don't think we realize how much power our words hold, right? So we sometimes just say things flippantly, like cursing and all that kind of stuff. And I have a potty mouth. Pokey, you know, when I play Halo, I'm just like swearing, and like it's my way of alchemizing it. But to like really curse someone, being like, I curse this fiction, whatever, like this thing. I don't like using that, even saying it in like in jest, actually, because of I don't like putting that out there, right? Because it is the way magic works. How there is always a cost, right? You cannot cheat the universe. It knows all your secrets, right? So the sun, what we show each out to each other, right, in our main personality, that is one thing. My computer is going nuts right now because I'm going into it. So I'm going to talk about Pegasus. Now, I've always been a little girl who loves horses. I don't know why, and I think it's because of what horses represent, right? This idea of freedom. I grew up in the prairies, so like wide open spaces, the big sky, just like the space to dream as big as you want to dream, right? So the idea of having a winged horse makes sense. And so I thought of Pegasus. I always thought the story of Pegasus was with the hero Perseus. And I think that his sister says that Henry Cavill ends up being all of her. She doesn't like him, but he ends up playing all the characters that she has crushes on, like The Witcher and Superman, and I do not know if he played in the Immortals. I actually like the Immortals as a movie. They make Zeus and like Apollo look hot, so it's good. Makes sense. But regardless, I thought that I think in that movie too they had it where Pegasus, I think, is like a gift from Poseidon, because Perseus is the son of Poseidon and I forget. But Poseidon is also equivalent to Neptune. So in our astro right now, when we think about Neptune placements, Neptune rules Pisces. So he's like not just the ruler of the sea, but also what the sea symbolizes, right? And also like I see you, right? The sea of your irises as well, right? Like you can, and also there's this idea in the ancient world that above the firmament above us, there is this like sea as well. That's why astronaut means sea sailor, right? Or star sailor rather. So you're sailing amongst the stars. It's why also like on the moon, they name a lot of their things very, it deals with like water, right? So what is unique about water? Water can change state, right? Water can be a solid, liquid, or a gas. So water in evaporation, right? A mist, you may not even notice it. You can actually inhale it, right? So it's like this idea that water also can merge to the shape of the cup that it's in, right? And so it's formless, shapeless, this idea of like even our souls, like our inner blood, our inner endocrine system, all of our inner workings being, we're encapsulated in earth, right? But the water, our bloodstream, our insides, all that juiciness is all water. So the water signs, Scorpio, which is what we have the new moon in right now, but also Cancer and Pisces have a very strong intuition when it comes to things. And the Poseidon myths, I always like to say, like if you're a Pisces person, you could look at, or rather a water sign person, you could look at the myths where Poseidon is the father to those heroes, because in Greek myth, typically the heroes are demigods, right? This idea of being half divine, and where your parentage comes from, right? And divine right to rule situation as well, because even in Eastern mythology, there is a myth that, with the Pleiades, the star system up in the cluster of Taurus, there are 7 sisters, but one sister is not there, Merope, because she fell in love with a mortal. And she came down to marry that mortal. So there's just different types, different stories, right, as well. Oh my gosh, Gwen Stacy, The Last Unicorn is literally one of my favorite movies. I just got chills. You saying that? Oh my gosh. How do you know that movie, Gwen Stacy? You're too young for that, aren't you? The Last Unicorn. Oh, I just got. And Jeff Bridges is the voice of the prince, right? And Jeff Bridges, of course, is like the creator in Tron. So that's like, I don't know, some strange, I don't know what that is. To me, there's a connection there. But in The Last Unicorn, in this story, and I agree with this from a cosmological standpoint, that unicorns are guardians of forest realms. And forests are a unique, how should I call it? They're like a realm, right? You have like the earth realm, but on this realm you have like desert realms, the sea, you have mountain realms, and then you have the forest. The forest itself, right? This idea of being the guardian of a forest. That's why stags are very venerated in that context, like Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and the forest, all that kind of stuff. She's also the goddess of the moon, right? But in that story, Mia Farrow is the voice of the unicorn. The unicorn gets turned into a human being, and I forget why. I think the wizard does it for some reason. So like I see lots of stream app called Tubi. Okay, everybody, we should all watch The Last Unicorn together. I'll pull that together on Oh, Angel, thank you. Oh, perfect. Oh, great. I'm also on Beam, you guys. So if you want to do multi-streaming stuff, and producing, and you want to have your own show and stuff, I would love to help you with that. So as I was saying, like, I'm no longer going to be offering astrology readings, like one-on-one, which I had been doing, but then realized it was just really hard on me emotionally. It takes a lot out of me. Just, I don't know, I guess I just care a lot. So then I just get like very, very invested in it. And then I do have like another book to write, as well as like my movie funding to put up. And so it's just been like, okay, what do I want to actually focus my energies on? Because if you're anyone who's like really, really like creative, it can almost feel like paralyzing. It's like, well, I don't really know what to do first, because I could do this. I could make my Green Lantern ring. I could fix my cosplay for this, or I could just go live, or I could do this, right? So I could make my schedule, right? So it's just like, oh my gosh, all these things that I could be doing. How about maybe I just stop and breathe and just think to myself and go, what would I be happiest doing, right? And how can I best configure myself going forward in a way that I am like an Ouroboros, and I bring like energy back to myself while having fun, right? Because I was starting to realize that when it came to the astro content that I was giving you guys, like, I wasn't necessarily saying anything that wasn't already out there. Like, you guys can definitely just put in your own birth date into astro and like go down all the rabbit holes about all the different things that how these luminary energies and cosmic forces may impact your story of life. I think there's so much power. I have received so much comfort in my own journey, knowing that others have also gone through a similar kind of thing, as well as just like realizing there's something bigger in this world, right? Something that transcends us, and that you, me, all of us are truly, truly gifted, whatever that really means. It's just that we've been placed in this kind of condition where you can't express yourself in a way, like, or you can't go through the failings of what that looks like because everyone's watching and judging at the same time. Unicorns are real. They live in Africa. They're gray and huge, and we call them rhinoceroses. Oh my goodness, Gadek, I love that. I love rhinoceroses. Someone got me a shirt, or that meme, where it's like the rhino running on the treadmill, and there's like a picture of a unicorn beside him, as motivation to work out. I'm like, no, rhinos are rhinos, baby. Luna, where you been at, Mama Jean? Though I thought we lost you again through mission. Oh my goodness, Jean has been resurrected multiple times. What is death, anyways, right? Okay, I'm gonna finish by telling you guys the story of Pegasus, how I have understood it, and also like my little mini parable lesson for you guys from it, in the wake of the new moon in Scorpio and Mercury. So, like, hi Saitama, hi, it's been a little while. I hope you're well. Happy new moon. I hope you guys also keep your psychic self healthy, right? Trust your own divination, trust your hunches, trust your gut instinct, right? Practice that kind of stuff, right? Like just also, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats. It's like a known thing. Things like the magic in our reality is there, right? It just needs a little bit of attention and focus, and also just the stopping of second guessing yourself or sabotaging of self, being like, well, what am I going to do about it? Just little old me. How am I supposed to change the world? No, trust me, the universe needs you. Trust me, right? And it's banking on us feeling so disempowered and like, I can't do this, that then like evil then continues to thrive. So I'm not having it anymore. And I've just realized that just me doing my astrology stuff is not necessarily the way to do it. I'm offering production services, so things of like going live, because I produce a show called Restoring Our Roots, which is a story about sharing stories, okay? Because no one can censor your experience or your story, and a lot of people's stories deserve to have some light to them. And when I first moved here to Toronto, I took broadcast journalism, got super disillusioned because I thought it was all like smoke and mirrors and show business, which it is. But they're in the business of telling you what reality is, right? Versus it being like a movie, even though movies, to me, tell a lot more truth than the news, right? Okay, so story of Pegasus. Now, the story of Pegasus comes initially from the story of Medusa. Now, for some strange reason in goddess worship, let's call it that, in Toronto here as well, like because in the big cities you end up with these situations, like these trending things that happen, and not to say the patriarchy is awesome, but just all women being crazy is not great either. Trust me, I went to an all girls high school, and like Mean Girls, gossip, oh my gosh, all that stuff. Like, so like both sides have their own ish and shadows to check. But I'll bring it to Pegasus. So Medusa, once upon a time, was actually a beautiful priestess of the goddess Athena. Now, I'm going to write down Athena, because Athena, hi Timmy, how's it going, my friend, my artistic friend? I will have emails to be sent. Emails will be sent to everybody tomorrow. Everyone I've talked to about the collaboration stuff, I promise. Okay, so Athena, goddess of wisdom. She's my sister's favorite goddess. I like Athena, but she's tough, man. She's the goddess of wisdom, and I'm going to flip this. Hi, Craig Myers. How are you? I hope you're well. Happy new moon. Happy new lunar cycle. Happy new you. Breaking old chains. Stepping into your best, most wonderful self ever. It's all that stuff. 2025 was crazy, but it just means that we're in prep for 2026, which has a lot of prophecy in it. But I was just telling you guys, I'm not going to be doing any readings anymore or offering those, just from a perspective of how I can best serve the cosmos. So all of those are going to change very, very soon. I do still have dragon eggs, though. Not for eating, to protect your dreams. Oh, hi, Arkansas. Is it warm there still? Will Torius, great name. Athena, so I'm going to tell you guys the story of Pegasus, okay? And then I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you this story today on the new moon, okay? Okay. So, Medusa. Medusa was once a priestess of the goddess Athena. And the goddess Athena is the goddess of wisdom. But not just that, she's also the goddess of heroes, right? Athena herself was born from Zeus's head when he had a headache and he used like an axe, cracked it open, and Athena popped out fully grown, fully helmed, ready for battle. She is the goddess of wisdom and war, strategic warfare, right? Where Ares is more like bloodlust and, that kind of stuff. So, Athena, goddess of wisdom. So, Medusa was once a beautiful maiden, right? Who was a priestess to Athena. Now, trouble starts to brew. Poseidon, I'm pretty sure it's Poseidon. Yeah, I think it's Poseidon. Poseidon. How do I spell Poseidon? Poseidon. Yes. Poseidon. Neptune. God of the seas, the oceans, and the imagination, the unseen realms. He sees Medusa and is like, you are so hot, baby. You are fine. I want you. And gods in these days, they tended to just, take whatever they wanted, beautiful women included. So the way the story goes is this. Poseidon basically has a tryst. He has a bow chicka wow wow, they get down in Athena's temple. Now, Athena's also priestesses are supposed to A, be virgins, and B, why are you having sex in my temple, Medusa? So that happens, and as a result of this, Athena turns Medusa into an ugly gorgon, right, with snakes for hair, right? And you can see so I kind of feel bad for Medusa at this point, right? Because wasn't really her fault that Poseidon wanted her, because she was beautiful, and then I there's different versions of the tale. One is that he accosted her and forced her in the temple. Another is that they actually had a romance, and then the fact that she was no longer virginal or whatever and did it in the temple. Either way, Athena got mad. And I think there's a big lesson here too, because when we think of the goddesses, sometimes we're like, oh, so nice. You're a goddesses. There's such a vengeful, petty side to all of them. Like Venus, how she treats Psyche, Athena, how she just treated Medusa, Ariadne with this, oh, you think you're like a goddess? I'm gonna make you humble. So there's a lot of pettiness, and I think there's something to look at in those stories that because of that, right? This idea that, oh, you're this cosmic entity, but you're kind of like a child, right? So let's put that there a moment. So Medusa's now a gorgon, snakes for hair, and she's like, oh, now I have to live with all these other gorgons in a cave. So she's this story actually makes me feel kind of bad for Medusa. Now, Perseus is the son of Poseidon. He's a demigod. Now I'm remembering that movie, The Immortals. I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill played Perseus. He's one of my favorite Greek heroes because of the Pegasus thing. But then now I've realized that I've remembered the myth wrong. So I'll share with you guys my intel on that. So Perseus is asked to slay the Medusa, right? And then he does so, right, with his shield, his mirror, right? The Medusa, the Gorgons, when they reflect, I should have explained this in the beginning. The snakes for hair turn their, any gaze that they have with you, it will turn you into stone. So, he uses the mirror to basically mirror back that gaze that can turn him into stone, and then he slays the Medusa by cutting off her head, and then out pops the Pegasus, right? Born from the severed head, the blood, right? And if you think about it then, Medusa and Poseidon are actually the parents of Pegasus in a weird kind of way, right? Playboy Lelos, yes. Hera was legendary for her jealousy. Yeah, and D-Boy and my Gucci Nikes. It's funny because Hera, I think in all women, we all have that Hera side, right? And just like with we are all the gods and goddesses. We are the pantheon within ourselves, right? So like no different than if you were to approach a problem in your life, how you handle that problem is going to be maybe differing on how, if you're going to lean into your more Aphrodite self, or am I going to lean into like my vengeful Hera self, right? So, hi, Movie Trev. Love you too, Gwen Stacy. So, it's all to say that knowing yourself really matters, because at the end of the day, only I get to fuck with me, right? And also, like with those that I love, I would really hate it if my shadow or my unchecked stuff spilled over and hurt them, right? And so it's like up to us to kind of keep our own selves in check, right? With our own selves, right? Oh, thank you, Ovi. Yes, we are our own worst critics. And Pluto right now, who is the ruler of Scorpio, Jean Grey's birthday was actually on November 5th. I'm a Scorpio. But I do feel like Scorpios, any water sign has a deep power in intuition, right? Like, you know, you get just like, just have a funny feeling about this, that kind of thing. And digging deeper into that and putting more trust in that, you know, like trusting yourself a bit more. I remember once I was driving on the highway and I was freaking out because I hate driving at night. Like for some strange, I'm really blind, right? So with my glasses, and I don't have my peripherals, and it's like the lights are too bright. And I'm like, oh, I hate these. I hate driving in Toronto, generally speaking. But anyways, I'm driving on the highway and freaking out, and my hubby turns to me and he's like, babe, just like, trust yourself. I trust you, so just trust yourself. And I'm like, okay, I do. And then it was fine, right? So don't help people already doing it. Yeah, don't hate on yourself. Don't that. I would say just be aware of that inner voice, right? And how powerful that is. Because if you're telling yourself constantly like, you can't do that, you're a piece of shit, that's like not very nice to hear, right? It's just not. I wouldn't want to hear that, but we do that to ourselves all the time, you know? So maybe instead this time, you guys, go to the mirror, like touch your body, give yourself a hug and go like, thanks body, like thanks for like getting me through this life so far. Thanks for like allowing me the opportunity to experience what the beauty is of being alive. Like how good chocolate tastes and how good sex feels, how good kissing is. Like I get to experience all that because I have a body. So thanks. Like I don't tell you that enough. So try doing that. See how your body responds on a cellular level, because we are all frequency and vibration. So we can start with ourselves first. Be just a little bit more kinder to ourselves, right? Realize that you can do better. Your best, maybe just you need to practice, right? And spend some time being bad at something, right? Movie Travis. Oh, perfect. I love that. I tell myself, I don't know why they censored that comment. Let's see here. There we go. I'm going to approve all the comments, and then I'm going to drop off because I'm going to tell the second part of the story. So, going back to Pegasus, the reason why I'm telling the story of Pegasus is because I've been using a Pegasus Oracle deck lately. And a card that has been coming up a lot in my reads is Black Pegasus. And Black Pegasus in the world of symbology represents, in this case, the divine masculine. And the way it's read for me is that like the importance of the other. Like there is no sweet without sour. There is no me without you. You know? So we are only us through the lens of another, but you're also just you, yourself too, right? So it's just this strange thing that we're not necessarily meant to like really get in 3D realm. Like we're not supposed to be able to understand the great mystery in such a way, right? But it's more for us to like, it's like when you dance, right? And you learn a choreography. It's a really intricate hip hop choreography. And then once you learn it, it's like in your body. So whenever I hear the song, I don't even think about it. I just know the moves, right? So, but the journey it takes to get to that point is one that is going to be unique, right? I can never tell like when when a dance will just be easy to get, or when a dance will be like so frustrating, and I've been in dance class before with like certain like advanced hip hop, let's say, and you're like, it's like small little hand movements, right? And then like a lot of attitude, which I don't really have. And but and then I'll just get stuck on a move, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so stuck. I don't know what the, and then like the choreo will keep moving, and I'm like, no, I've lost it, right? Yin and yang. So to end the story of Pegasus is that there's a hero named Bellerophon. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He is actually the one who ends up riding Pegasus to fight Chimera. Now, I remember Chimera from Mission Impossible 2. They like named the virus thing that Tandy Newton like puts in herself, being like, not this bitch who is worth what, $5 million. And Tom Cruise does his like, running thing, and like there's the John Woo directed that one though, and I really I don't know, out of all the Mission Impossibles, I love Mission Impossible 2. Anyways, but where was I going with this? Oh yes, the Chimera. So this other hero, Bella, I'm gonna call him Bella for now. He rides the Pegasus to defeat the Chimera. So his story, though, is one about hubris, right? So now that he's defeated the Chimera, he's like this big time hero. Amazing, right? So he, because of his hubris, right, because of his arrogance, he asks the Pegasus to take him up to Mount Olympus, right? So the Pegasus is like, all right, fine, I guess we'll do that then. It's flying up to Mount Olympus, and Zeus looks down, being like, what's up with this bitch? So he sends a gadfly down to bite Pegasus on the booty. Pegasus rears, he bucks Bella off. He crashes down into the earth, crippled, blinded, broken, and left that way. And Pegasus goes off to have, I think, babies with another Pegasus winged horse being. So that's the story I wanted to tell you. And like it has like kind of a tragic ending, but Bellerophon, whatever his name is, has a similar kind of Macbeth situation where like the hubris, this idea of like, oh well, I deserve to be up there, I deserve this, or like I'm special, I'm like, that attitude, no, humbleness is required, right? So I will leave you guys with this because I gotta drop and jump onto my D&D game, which I'm going to be streaming with you guys. I don't know if I'll be streaming as Jean Grey, we shall see. Yes, and I want maps to comic books, because the comic books do borrow a lot from the classics, right? And it's because where do stories come from, right? When I tell a story, it's not my story, right? I am plucking that story from the great Akashic record, right? I am but a conduit, right? So Hestoid, I think I'm gonna write it down because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Hestoid, he has been said that when he wrote the Theogony, which is how we know about all the Greek gods and goddesses, is that he was like sitting under a tree and he had a vision of the muses come to him and they told him this story. So we're going to talk about the muses and the seven sisters very soon, different stories in the stars, but I'm going to be telling them from like a Dragon Tales perspective, right? And that'll be a new series coming up in addition to like the comic book reads, and it will be my content that basically replaces my Astro content. So there'll be Astro in it, but not necessarily like the moon is here and Mercury's there, and you guys are like, I don't know what you're talking about, just do a card reading, Rachel. So that being said, I'm not necessarily doing readings 101 anymore, that offering. However, if you do need something, or if you do need like someone to just bear witness to something magical, or you need a little pep talk, or you need that kind of stuff, please do DM me, right? I do think there are those of you out there who are going to be called to walk a very, very challenging but powerful and required path, right? And just to quote Spider-Man, right? If it's not going to be me doing it, who else will do it? Who else is going to push the rock that you are meant to push? No one, right? As much as we like love our friends, or like think that these like leaders or celebrities or whatever figures, no one's going to save us but us, right? So let's find our friends, let's jump into the the X-wing, and let's go save the world. You want to, so that's the vibe I kind of want to leave with you guys, and look at these stories and the stars, including astrology and tarot and the woo or anything out there. Just trust yourself, your own intuition when it comes to that, right? And you know really, really seek out the people in your life that you vibe with, right? It's life's too short to be just like not you. Okay? All right, guys. Until next time, I will see you guys very, very soon. Remember, it takes true courage for you to play as exactly you in the cosmic game of life. So be sure to play as exactly you. To me, my X-Men, remember, the universe is counting on you. But I have sure got your back. Till next time. Bye.